Hello, and welcome back. I think most of y'all have seen me for the third time today. Y'all gonna have Demetra K overload, right? Anyway, I was at the African Diaspora News Channel at 11 a.m. Central Time a minute ago. Well, a little while ago. And then, of course, y'all probably watched our podcast that premiered at about 2:15. And here we are again. So anyway, I am Demetra K. I don't think I need to say that, but I'm sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Sadiq, also known as the Black Yule Brenner. The purpose of the Demetra K show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we're great people, but we can always strive to do better. Like I said, big giant thank you, hello, and welcome to YouTube and Facebook. We are live, and you are the other side of the conversation. Also, thank you so much to my wonderful moderators for holding down the comment section. I love you. I do. Ooh. So today we are going to be talking about Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson keeps on comparing descendants of slavery, us, right, to that of the immigrants that are getting caught up in Trump's ICE raids. And I'm going to show y'all a video. And as I listened to it over and over and over again, I picked up on something. I said, okay, that deserves a conversation, because he keeps saying it. I don't know if people are really picking up on what he is saying. So we'll get into that. But Donovan, what say you?
All right. Good evening, everybody. It is 3 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, October 7th, 2025. Welcome back to the show again. We are live now. We are actually live. If you guys saw the last podcast, thank you for liking and sharing that. Do us a favor. If you guys want to buy Demetra a nice, Coca-Cola or a nice soda pop, whatever you guys call it, wherever you're from, there's a scrolling banner at the bottom to keep these great conversations going and keep the content creator motivated. There's ways you can do it. You can donate Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, cash, money order, however you guys want to do it. Having these great conversations over the last few years has really awakened myself, a lot of people up, and we really appreciate the effort that you put in, Demetra, to educate the folks on what's really going on here. So again, thank you for that. And thank you guys for, like I said, we don't just talk to you guys. You guys also talk back to us, and we learn a lot from you guys. Also, don't forget to download the African Diaspora News Channel app. You can get it on Google Play, Apple Store. And again, there's a lot of stuff going on in the African diaspora. Please pay attention, because what happens over there is just a catalyst of what is going to be happening over here. So it's very, very important in regards to the Chicago aspect. I need a lot of you guys already know what's going on, but for the people that don't know what's going on, you got to put all this together. When you flood the Black neighborhoods with migrants, illegal migrants, and then the ICE raid starts happening, there's going to be some collateral damage of Black people unnecessarily being arrested, and until they can figure it out. That's just collateral damage of the situation. But again, notice that when Greg Abbott sent those illegal immigrants up to Martha's Vineyards, up to Kamala Harris vice presidential property, they weren't there but a couple of days, and they got them up out of there. See, so we got to read the tea leaves for what they are. When you flood. And then where else could you send migrants? Because we are the only group of people in the United States that is welcoming to everybody, but they're not welcoming to us. So we got to keep that in context as we go forward in this conversation. So Demetra, let's get into it.
Yes, indeed. And let's see who's on here before we get started. Mike Nice, how you doing? Hope you're well. D-Mac, what's going on with you? Glad to see you again. Brother James, how you doing? Says, good evening, Sister Demetra. We have a battle here in Chicago, and these Democrats think that Black Americans are going to go along with this mess. Yeah, I see a lot of videos coming from Chicago from Black residents, and y'all are not having it. And a lot of y'all are making the line of demarcation between what's really going on with the immigrants and the Black residents. So yeah, I keep up the good work. Jersey Rick, how you doing? Hope you're well. Troy, nice to see you again. Kevin, how are you? I think I saw you earlier as well. Simo, what's going on with you? Vanessa, how you doing? Team Jesus. How you doing? T. Austin, how you doing? Sister Sunlight, how you doing? Michelle, hope that you are well. Brother Reggie in the building. Mr. Ernest, how you doing? Who else? Who else? Who else? Oh my goodness, African Native. Thank you so much for that. That is a hell of a donation. Love and appreciate you for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all that you do. Marjorie, how you doing, brother? Easy E in the building. What? Somebody says, yes, I heard my heartthrob Lorenz Tate, a Chicago native and philanthropist, shared it and his story. I love him. We're gonna have to fight over him. Just want you to know that. Sister Shirley, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. One who cares, how you doing? Thank you, brother James, for becoming a member. Love and appreciate you for that. And Ais, how you doing? Long time no see. Eddie, what is going on with you? Who else haven't I seen? Albie Chill, I saw you earlier. How you doing? Once again, Mama T, what's good? Brother Thunder, how are you? Glad to see you. And I think I said hello to everybody. Okay, so let's get into it for the sake of time. And once again, thank you everybody for the donations and the membership. So anyway, as you guys may or may not know, we have an immigration issue here where there's a lot of immigrants, and it looks like maybe Trump and Tom Homan are on their way to, getting a lot out. They said their goal is 2 million by the end of this year. Well, you know that when Biden took office, him and Kamala, they opened the doors so wide open. I don't think they'd ever close them. But anyway, a whole lot of people came in from all over the place, right? Not just one place. And with that, a lot of those immigrants were sent to Democrat cities, right? Because a lot of them entered in through Texas, which is the southern border. And people like Greg Abbott was like, okay, bet we're not we're a red state. We're not for immigration. So we're going to send them to the blue states where a lot of them are sanctuary cities. One of those cities is Chicago. So Chicago got an influx of immigrants. And then it was just kind of like a perfect storm, I guess, because I kind of had a new mayor at the time, Brandon Johnson. And he was very welcoming to the immigrants. He fought and is still fighting for the immigrants. Chicago has spent a copious amount of money taking care of the immigrants, over $1 billion from what I understand. It might be more. And again, now that Trump, because that was one of the first cities he said he was going to go into, Tom Homan, right? They say, yeah, we're going to Chicago. It took them a while, but now they are there. They being with ICE and National Guards, I think they're there. Don't quote me. But nevertheless, they are there. And some people are calling it a war on American citizens, right? Because Trump said that we're sending these people there. And it sounds like Texas is sending some National Guards to Chicago and Portland, I think it is. So, yeah, depending on how you look at it, some people say it's a war on American citizens, and some people are saying, no, they're getting immigrants out of here. Okay, so Brandon Johnson, this is not the first time he says something like this. It's actually the second time I've heard him say it, but now it's really like what's going on. And I also picked up on something else he said. So here we go.
That they would use ICE as a pretext to send in the National Guard. And now they are doing just that. I've also said for the last couple of years that the extreme right in this country refused to accept the results of the Civil War. They have repeatedly called for a rematch. But in the coming weeks, we will use this opportunity to build greater resistance. Chicagoans are clear. Militarizing our troops in our city as justification to further escalate a war in Chicago will not be tolerated. Past teaches us that just because we are on the right side of history, that doesn't mean that we will succeed. It's going to take courage and determination, bravery, unity. But one thing that I know for sure in this great nation, this moment that we are in, Chicago was built for this moment. Immigrants from around the world, descendants of slaves, have come to this city to make it the global capital of the world. And now we stand in a moment that is testing our very humanity, and the city of Chicago will stand the test of time. Thank you very much.
All right, so let's remove Mayor Brandon Johnson, ladies and gentlemen. So, again, y'all heard him say he compared the immigrants to descendants of slavery, basically saying immigrants came to Chicago and descendants of slavery came to Chicago. It's like, wait a minute, homie, who is this we that you talking about, right? Because we weren't immigrants. We weren't immigrants. Many of our people were kidnapped and stolen from the motherland and brought over here. I know there was some that were already here, but we're not immigrants. We were forced to do things that we didn't want to do, right? When I say we, I mean our ancestors on those plantations, forced labor and all of that. Immigrants are coming over here on their own. They're not forced to come over here. Now, they may be fleeing from some things per se, but they do not have the same story as we. But this, again, that's the second time I heard him say that. And it's like, I hear what he's saying. He's basically trying to get the black to get together with the brown and say, oh, well, we have the same experience. But the thing that I keep hearing him repeat, and I don't know if anybody's really picking up on it, is he says, the right has not accepted the Civil War results, and they keep wanting a rematch. And so if you know anything about the Civil War, what it was about whether slavery should be a thing or not, right? The South wanted slavery, and the North did not. So of course the South lost and slavery was abolished, right? And slaves, our descendants, right, or our ancestors rather, were freed off of those plantations. And so when I hear him say stuff like that, that's a dog whistle in a sense to us. Like, if y'all don't get any skin in the game and help me fight ICE and Trump against, this all the stuff that's going on with the immigrants, this Civil War may jump off the rematch and y'all might go back on the plantation. See, he's not saying it out loud, but often if you say something enough, pretty soon it just kind of permeates, right? And then you start to think, oh my God, if the right wing, Trump and them, get their way and they kick off the Civil War, and then the South, and I'm assuming he's equating the South to the right wing, if they win and get their way again, then we're going to be back on the plantation, right? So if y'all listen to him speak, you'll notice that he keeps saying stuff like that. So, but like Brother James and all of y'all that's in Chicago, he hears y'all saying something totally opposite. Like, that ain't our fight. That ain't got nothing to do with us. Now, James, to your point, I have seen a lot of Black Chicagoans say, listen, still don't get it twisted. Yeah, what they did in that apartment building was wrong or whatever, but they didn't go in there looking for Black people. They went in there looking for Venezuelan gangs, right? That's what they were there for. But they're also saying, do not keep bringing this up to get us involved in this, because it still has nothing to do with us. Most Black Chicagoans are like, we want them gone. We want them gone because, again, we know that Brandon Johnson and Eric Adams and all of them, but specifically in Chicago, they moved the immigrants into Black neighborhoods, permeating. And a lot of times those gangs took over certain areas. So there's a lot going on here. But I'm going to tell y'all, Brother James spread the word that if y'all reelect Brandon Johnson, I don't know what to tell y'all. He keeps bringing up Black people, but he doesn't care about Black people. He only brings up Black people to boost up what's going on with the illegal immigrants there. So I'm going to get into the comment section in a minute. Donovan?
I'm going to recite what Brother Reggie said in the comments. I know I'm kind of jumping you there. Brother Reggie from Japan says, hold up, didn't the racist Democrats, Dixiecrats, that's known as founders of the KKK, which is the military arm of the Democratic Party, lose the war? And a lot of you guys are also chiming in on that. So as a Democrat, it wouldn't make sense what he's saying, because again, it was the Democrats who engaged in insurrection. So again, if he wants to invoke knowing our past, you got to know what party was for slavery and all that other good stuff with that. So good catch, Brother Reggie, and the rest of you guys that are doing that. JJ Mars, Mike Nice, all you guys that are usual regulars. Bernie's book tour is back. Great to see you. Samuel X Clark, Extreme X, good to see you. Marcus Ferilius, hope I said that right. He says Lori Lightfoot to Brandon Johnson. Yeah, Chicago, take these L's that you guys are getting. But let me just say this. We shall overcome. We shall someday. Are you guys entertained yet? I mean, they've done everything to get Black people to get interested in what these migrants and these white folks got going on. Black folks, continue to mind your business. You know, my reply to this is very short, because I want to hear what you guys got to say in the comments. But again, Black people, mind your business. And if I'm going to get involved in this, in a situation like this, you got to ask yourself, what's in it for you? If you get involved, what are you going to get out of this? Another foot in your ass and nothing to show for it. So again, mind your own business, you guys.
Extreme X, how you doing? Is Keisha Lance Bottoms running again? Because wasn't she the mayor before? Is she running again? I haven't seen anything about that, so please enlighten me. All right, so skipping on down, Brother James says the black older persons need to turn on Brandon Johnson right now, especially with this budget coming up. But a lot of them aren't. I saw it, and you probably know her name, Brother James, but it was some a Latina older woman. She got arrested because she was trying to bum rush the ICE facility. So don't sound like they're turning on them, right? Sounds like they're all locked in. Let's see. Sister Sunlight says, why isn't Trump sending the feds in? He says for that gift box Brandon Johnson has, political theater, Brandon Johnson is in Trump's pocket. What gift box is that?
Well, remember, he has that room that's full of gifts that were sent to him, and it's a big controversy of all these things that he's getting. And by the way, I want to add this real quick. They keep saying, oh, Trump is sending in the National Guard. The National Guard, each state has their own National Guard. You cannot send a National Guard from one state into another state unless that National Guard unit has been federalized by the Secretary of War or the president himself. National Guard is already in the state. It's regular citizen soldiers. So he's not doing some invasion. See how they do a play on words? The National Guard is already there. It's citizen soldiers. So if Donald Trump wants to raise the National Guard and federalize it, he can do that within the state. He doesn't have to get a unit from California to move over there. They don't do it that way. It's within the state. The National Guard is already there.
Well, I want to give a point of correction. I don't know if you watched the news, but they left last night from Texas. I believe it's Illinois is where they went to. So yeah, from Texas, President Trump asked Greg Abbott to send some, and they did. I think it's like 100 to 300. Don't quote me, but yeah, they left last night and they're there today. So,
yeah, like I said, the Secretary of Defense or War could nationalize them, whatever, and he can send them. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But most likely, the majority of the troops come from within the state.
Yeah, but a lot of them left from Texas last night. Thunder says, why are they fighting so hard for non-citizens? Why do they ask or demand our vote and give us nothing and do for everyone else but us, and look confused when we say we're gonna go fornicate yourselves? I like that. It says, am I wrong? No, you're not wrong, but we're wrong because we keep voting them in office. That's why they look at us crazy, right? Because they're like, what you mad for? You didn't have a problem with it any other time, but you have a problem now. I mean, how you doing? Says he said descendants of slaves leave us out of it. Yeah, but it's not the first time he said it. He keeps saying it, keeps bringing up this. They're mad that they lost the Civil War and they want a rematch type conversation. Like, dude, we're not going back on the plantation, okay? So knock it off, okay? JJ, how you doing? Says yes, remove him. Brother Dane says Black Americans aren't standing with this fool for the illegal immigrants. Yeah, but he keeps on trying to, bring Black Americans into it. All right, so let's see. Beverly White, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Brother Jesse, what's going on with you? Yeah, Brother James, they keep saying we're going to get deported. I ain't seen it yet. Marcus, how you doing? Says there's no Black and brown coalition, only Black. Well, you need to tell that to Brandon Johnson. Thunder says, Demetra, Donovan, do you have a favorite pet fish? A pet? I don't. Well, what's that? Like a goldfish? Not that I know of. Let me skip down. Brother Samuel says, seems like some kind of way they want to use the struggle to attack Blacks, even if they have to move them to a Black city. We haven't fell for it in different cities to get us involved. They're trying very hard.
Yeah, real quick, moderators, please remove Team Jesus 25.
They acting crazy up in here.
Well, again, here's Mr. Jesus. There can't have an adult conversation without saying some very derogatory things. He wouldn't say that to me if I was right in front of his face, because I'd take his throat out. But go ahead.
Well, if they don't get him, I get him. Hey, Brother Jonell, and you in Chicago, do tell. What's really going on? Hey, Jody, how you doing? He says, you're delusional, young lady. I've been told that before. I've been told I'm young before. Well, thank you. Debbie, how you doing? Says, that's an educated fool. I used to wonder what my grandmother meant. Now I know. Okay. Yep. Patrick, how you doing? I think your comment cut off. Let's see, Lee, how you doing? Says ICE is arresting Black Americans, but no one is talking about it. But what? Tell us where it's at so we can talk about it. Where are they getting arrested at? Now, are they being detained and released, or are they being arrested and booked? Right? That there's a difference. So I please lead me to that story because I'd love to cover it. Leisha, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. And Patrick, you say ICE is not zip tying Black kids. A photo going around is fake. I've seen that photo. Yes, that photo is probably fake, but the story is not. Okay, that story of that little kid being zip tied, yeah, that's probably fake, but the story is real. So just want to kind of make the difference with that. K-Mac, how you doing? Says Chicago is standing down. Okay, and One Wish, how you doing? Says Democrats need to be working on Black people reparations. Check. Yeah, they're not going to do that, right? TJ, how you doing? Says she's running for governor in Georgia. Okay. Yeah, it's like, what did she do for Atlanta, right? So I get it. Brother James says Dimitri of Elijah Muhammad, and it's his 128th anniversary today. So yes, says if Elijah Muhammad was here, he would tell Black Americans to stand down, get out of the way, and stay out of the way. Yeah, right. Do for self, I'm quite sure, right? That mind the business that pays you. But that they wouldn't want us to be, to not have compassion. There's a difference between having compassion and going about the things that you're supposed to be doing. So yes.
Yeah, Stacey Abrams isn't running for governor for a third time. I mean, she almost got it that last time, according to her. Or is it the fact of the corruption that she's caught up in?
Absolutely. So I don't know if y'all got rid of Team Jesus, but Team Jesus has gone up yonder. All right. So Michelle says, Dimitri, you're right. I said the same thing. Okay. Priscilla, how you doing? James, what's going on with you? Says, good evening, Sister D. And brother, to hell with that, Stephen. We sick, boss, Django, Brandon Johnson, trying everything to get us out in those streets. That's the bottom line. Yet we ain't doing it. JJ says, dumb politicians always trying to link FBA struggles to other people who could care less about FBA. Yeah, and you ask any of those immigrants, they wouldn't be able to speak about what we had going on those plantations and what we got going on now. So yeah, please do not use us. Mr. Norris, how you doing? It says, when I hear the song We Shall Overcome, it makes me sick on the stomach now. Sounds sassy to me now. Some would argue that it is. All right. And Aisha says, pray for Chicago. Cynthia, how you doing? And thank you for being with me earlier. Love and appreciate you for that. Now, Brother Joe Nell, you said what's happening now is exactly what the Honorable Minister Farrakhan taught on his lecture series, Justifiable Homicide. You can watch and study plus more via NOA.org or YouTube. Also, Final Call Radio via finalcall.com. Absolutely.
Right. I got a question for you guys out there as well. Have you guys noticed that, Brandon Johnson's ratings have been in the toilet? And notice he isn't really talking about issues that deal with Chicagoans themselves. Everything is now fight the federal government, and we got to do this, and we got to, stand up and, fight the government, which they've already done and they lost. That's why you had the Civil War. To me, it's more like a deflecting thing. You're $1 billion in the hole. There's something going on with the money with the school board. You're involved in all of these scandals. Look at these politicians, how they operate. Let's talk about Israel real quick. Netanyahu. Do you guys realize Netanyahu was supposed to be out of office 4 years ago? He's still in office today, according to the Israeli law. But because it's an emergency that's going on, this man should have been allegedly criminalized and prosecuted for corruption, but he stays in office by keeping wars going. So have you guys noticed that Brandon Johnson is using deflection in regards to his performance as a mayor? Have you guys noticed that?
Yeah. And Easy says Democrats have done a great job merging immigrants' rights with civil rights movement. Yeah, and they get all of the benefits and we get none of it, right? And I want to go back to this comment. Claire, he says, please don't blame all boomers. I've been conservative all my life. I was asking these questions of us back since the 80s. Yeah, no, I'm definitely not one to be blaming all the boomers because I know it's not all the boomers, right? So King Stepper, how you doing? I want to reread George. Said he's sending Texas National Guard because Illinois governor refusing to send Illinois guards to avoid lawsuits in Illinois. Texas governor volunteered as National Guards. So exactly. Exactly. So they're there now from what I understand. And moving on down, and Alicia says, I hear the child was Venezuelan who was zip tied. Okay, there's so many stories out there, honestly. Cynthia says, where are they arresting Black Americans? Why haven't they come forward? That's what I'm saying. Tell me what's happening and I'll report on it for sure. Brother Reggie says, detained and arrested are two different things. Also, if you are in a house apartment with a bunch of illegals, you will be detained and released if you ain't doing anything wrong. There you go. So we're on the same page. We need to, make the difference. Are they being detained or arrested? Like, what are we doing? And let's see. Extreme X says, if Elijah Muhammad was alive today, he'll get attacked by these Black politicians. I'm sure he was getting attacked even back then, right? But he wasn't scared, never scared, right? The truth is the truth, whether people like it or not, right? But of course, they would more than likely, because they don't want Black unity. They want Black people to be disjointed so that everybody else can benefit and they can continue on with the benign neglect of Black people, because there's no benefit if we unify, because then if we unify, then we don't need them anymore. So it's a vicious cycle for sure. Janice, how you doing? Since the Democrat Party was called the Party of African Americans and Latinos, now they are called the Party of Black and Brown. Since we dropped African American and calling ourselves by names they cannot. Good point. Let's see, who else haven't I seen? I promise you I'm gonna catch back up because I know I'm super behind. Brother Thunder says, am I wrong for thinking that they were trying to replace the Black vote and it failed, and now they're just being blatant with the open neglect of Black Americans? Oh no, you are 100% right. Sunlight says Brandon Johnson will be reelected. Oh my God, I hope not. Yikes. Bernie's Book Torch says, why won't the feds use COINTELPRO on them like they did us? Oh, I'm sure that they are. I'm sure they are. So let's see who else haven't I seen? Patrick, I saw you, but you says Black people out there trying to protest against ICE will get jacked up. Stay out of it. Yeah, there's been a couple that got hemmed up, and I think they was like, yeah, y'all on your own. Brenda, how you doing? Says the image of the child zip tie was fake. A lot of people are reporting it now. Yes, so that one, I actually saw that for the first time today, and I was like, okay, right away, that's fake. But the story, I've seen a lot of credible sources talk about children being zip tied, but yeah, that one, it looks fake, right? So yeah, we're gonna throw a flag on the field. Lynette, how you doing? Hope you're well. Albert Chill says they are good at manipulating our emotions by using Black as a qualifier for whatever the agenda is they're pushing at the moment. Yep. S. Williams, how you doing? Says at some point ICE will target Black gang members like the ones who made videos telling Trump that don't come to Chicago. We got switches. What do you think the Black response will be then? We're going to mind our business, right? If you're dumb enough to be out there talking about you got switches for them folks or whatever the case is, I mean, go do the voodoo you do so well, but don't include us in the foolishness, because we didn't tell you to get out there and say none of that. Robin,
so you mean to tell me Kamala Harris isn't Black? Because, there's all these podcasts she's going on during her book tour where they're still acknowledging her as a Black woman. I don't get that, but okay.
I mean, I'm reading her book, and she's very clear that she's a Black woman. I'm just telling you what she's saying. She's very clear that she's a Black woman. She's not backing down from it or any of that other stuff. I've seen some people, I guess she's on her book tour, she's speaking, and she used the word, there's a freaking in here, and I don't know where it's coming from. Anyway, she said, and I don't know who she's talking about, but she said the term MFer, right? She said the whole thing. So somebody was like, oh, look at her, she cosplaying a Black woman. And again, I'm reading her book, and that's how she talks. She does cuss, so I don't know if that's just who she is. Of course, I don't know, but yeah, she cusses. I'm just telling you what I'm reading. Brother Reddy says to add to the story. To add, if the story is true, zip tying was most likely used as handcuffs. Are too big for children. Again, detained and arrested are not the same thing. So that is true. Zip ties, and it said there was so many of them there and all kind of things. So maybe they didn't have enough handcuffs, but for sure. Okay. Odd Negroes, how you doing? Hope that you are well. Let me skip down. Rodney Brown says, I'm from Chicago and I refuse to vote for that raccoon. Kevin says billionaire Zionists, Jews are buying up all the social media and Channel 2 news station. They have purchased networks also on the authority, says Benjamin Netanyahu, to promote the Zionist propaganda. That's what the word on the curb is.
Well, also, you got to remember the CBC went to Israel to meet with Benjamin Netanyahu, and whatever they discussed, nobody really knows. But it seems like to me, have you noticed that not one member of the CBC has talked against the aggression that's going on in Gaza? Have you guys noticed that?
And they're not going to. Cynthia says, Dimitri and Donovan, and thank you so much for that. Love and appreciate you. Said there are certain issues that I don't agree with Trump on, and there are issues I do agree. I still don't regret my vote. And I think a lot of people are the same, feel the same way, right? As I said, there's a lot of things I agree with. I say there's some things and a lot of things I don't agree with. But I was saying, I said this before, I think people who did vote for Trump did not vote for all the foolishness that he's doing, just like a lot of people who voted for Biden didn't vote for him to open up the border as wide as he did, right? So there's some truism there. I'm in the middle. JD, how you doing? Says we need to understand that just because the demon KKK craps went down and a few melanated YouTubers say Black Americans are being arrested, that doesn't mean those Blacks are Black American citizens. So yeah, I say Black people because it's true indeed. There's a lot of people of different diasporas, if you will, all over the place. So unless I know that they're Black Americans, like descendants of Black America or descendants of slavery, I don't typically use the word Black Americans unless I know that they're Black Americans. So I do get what you're saying. Marjorie says a lot of our B1 family members are in relationships with many of these illegals and migrants. I'm just saying so they know what it is. Just get your children situated and safe. Okay. Our Negro says she waited until after the election to finally be herself. So you talk about Kamala. Yeah, she does cuss quite a bit. I will say, Tracy, how you doing? It says she is a Black Caribbean, not FBA. So yeah, that's probably more accurate. Of course, we know she's not doesn't have a descendants of slavery roots per se. She being Kamala Harris. Our Negro, she says, why does cussing equate to being Black? I'm not saying that, but that's what some people, this guy, I don't know who his name was, but he was saying that. He was saying, oh, she's trying to cosplay and try to get y'all in by cussing and this, that, and the other. So he's actually equating her cussing to being Black. I'm not doing that. I'm just telling you what I saw. But as I was saying, to kind of give that a little bit more conversation as I'm reading her book, she does use, F-bombs quite a bit.
Well, she went to an HBCU. That makes her Black right there, according to Charlemagne the God and all these other so-called influencers. She went to an HBCU, so she's Black. Right? That's how it works, right, Demetra? If you go to HBCU, you're a Black person, right?
Well, that's not necessarily, because there's people who are not Black that go to HBCUs. And as I've always said, I mean, I don't, Kamala, I don't know, Candace, I think she did a good job on saying who she is, whatever. I don't know. I'm not in the business of telling people who they are or they are not. My thing is, you can say that you're Black, but what are you doing for Black people? That's what's important. You could talk Black all you want to, but if you ain't doing Black, you ain't walking Black, then what does it matter that you're Black? Just saying you're Black. And I say that to Black people in general, right? When they talk about other people for whatever reason, I'm like, okay, great. Now, what are you doing with your Blackness? What are you doing to better Black, Black Americans? Nothing. I'm just Black. Okay.
Or I'm the first to do this. I'm the first Black to do that. I'm the first Black to do this. What good is being first if you don't do nothing for your people? Your people are still in the same position. What's the point? Right.
Brother Reggie, you crazy. Talking about Kanka. Also running around saying it was the closest election ever. Lady, you lost everything. Even Hillary won the popular vote. Kamami did not. Yeah, Kamala got it handed to her. Jeanette, how you doing? Says Mayor of Chicago is an idiot. I say so. Cynthia, he says, so where are the pictures of the children being arrested again? Why aren't they coming forward and speaking out? I don't know. I guess it all remains to be seen whether it was true or not. I don't know. There was a lot of eyewitnesses of people who lived there who said that they saw it. So either they're in on the fix or it didn't happen. Or if they're in on the fix and it didn't happen, or it did happen, right? So I don't know. Kimmy, how you doing? Hope that you are doing well. Skipping down, Dano, how you doing? Hope that you're having a beautiful evening. Brother James says, I wrote on voting sheet, couch and recliner on all write-ins. Also wrote no reparations, no hate crime bill, no police bill, damn. No votes except for the couch and the recliner this Virginia election in November. Well, make sure that you vote. Like if it's state level, you really probably should vote for something other than the recliner. because that's why we have this cog in Washington, because those are the lowest turnout as far as elections. We should be voting for the senators and, in the city councils and all those people. So those elections matter more because they have a direct effect on you. So you might want to rethink that. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying, think about it. Marcus says, Dr. Randy Short went in on HBCUs being overrun by people who are not Black Americans. Elisha, how you doing? I hope I said the right. Says, look how quickly everyone is Black when there was trouble. I heard they were illegally here, or TDA. He says, they try to trigger us with the reports of kids zip tied. Yeah, I'm just telling you what the people said who were there in the building, that the kids were zip tied. I mean, come on, I wasn't there, but I think we're getting a little too silly. And I say we, I'm gonna just say me. We're getting a little too silly because now we want to qualify. We act like they don't handcuff Black children all the time. In fact, it was done. And y'all told me about it. It was like 2 weeks ago. A little Black kid was riding his bike recklessly, and they handcuffed him and arrested him. Was he like 8, 9, 10, something like that? So we acting like that doesn't happen, and it does. So why are we acting brand new here? I'm not saying that because they may or may not have done that to the children that, it invalidates them coming to get the immigrants. But I'm saying, come on now, let's.
Well, again, let's go back to our past. In the 1980s, when the CIA dropped the crack epidemic in the heart of the Black neighborhoods, and they were doing gang sweeps, they got movies made on it, Colors, South Central, and stuff like that. When those police were doing gang sweeps, did they care if the kid that got caught up in the gang sweep was 9 years old, 12 years old, 15 years old? They didn't care. They locked them up, roughed them up, pushed them against the wall. It didn't matter. See, that's what I'm saying. When it happens to Black people, everybody thinks it's just another day in the park. But when it happens to other cultures, it's an outrage. And what bothers me is, why do we are more concerned about other people's situation than we are about our own situation? When that stuff was happening to us, not one of these other groups spoke out. What did the Hispanics say? Well, maybe y'all would stop doing crimes. Maybe y'all would, they would say all this stuff that we should be doing, and we're not getting involved. We don't want to. Your problem's not my problem. But now it's happening to them, and we're sitting to the side, and now we're supposed to jump up and come to their defense. I'm not going to do it, because guess what? History has shown me, let the Hispanic deal with his problem and let the Black man deal with their problem. Isn't that what the president of LULAC said in the 1960s? I think he did.
Absolutely. Brother Reggie says, facts, choosing the couch is okay, but sometimes Chicago folks, y'all got to vote and get Mohawk Johnson up out of there. Yeah, your state and local elections, you have to, right? Naduro, how you doing? Says, why do y'all keep meshing those guests in our house with Black Americans? He says, the HBCUs need to be reconstructed. The administration directors ousted out. Can I keep it a buck with you? A lot of those HBCUs were founded by white people. And Spelman, I think, is named after a white woman. So I hear what you're saying, but are they all the way Black? I know historical Black colleges and universities, but are they truly all Black if they named after white people? I'm just asking the question, but I hear what you're saying, though. I hear what you're saying. How you doing, Rabbi? Yep, a happy 7th October, all of that. Let's see. Skipping down, I'm just going to say it. How you doing? It says he's an immigrant as well, a Haitian. And I'm sorry, I don't know who he's speaking of, but I'm sure it was something somebody said. Joseph, he says, if Black children were zip tied, why have parents said anything about it? The children were zip tied, would have said something about social media. I don't know. Like I said, I ain't that far into the weeds, as I do not live in Chicago. I'm just telling you of the reports. But again, it's, we want to be anti-private eye, when it comes to our people and things, but we acting like that stuff is not Americans, it's apple pie, is Black children being handcuffed and detained and arrested. So come on. That's a hill I'm not really trying to die on right now, to be honest with y'all. But I get it. I mean, it does raise some questions. What? Cynthia says, just keep it 100. I'm surprised no one recorded the children being arrested. And when will we be concerned about our Black men being arrested, going to jail for life? Yeah. And I don't know whose children though that was. I don't honestly want to see no children handcuffed. I don't care whose children it is. I'm just kind of like that when it comes to children. So I don't want to see nobody's children handcuffed. But my thing is this, what kind of burns me up a little bit is we as Black Americans, now we want to really, which has kind of been prophesied, but we really want to get in there and what about Black people? What about, we should always be doing that no matter who come over here. If an immigrant never came over here, we should be about ours 24/7, just like they're about theirs. But see, the problem with us is we not about ours because let election come and, you know, again, there's a lot, and Brother Thunder, to your question, there's a lot of state, local elections going on really all the time, right? November, there's some, just got to check them out and see what's going on. But, you know, we shouldn't be having these conversations, you know, about when to vote, how to vote, and being about our own people. Because when we don't vote, I guess is what I'm trying to say, especially in those state and local elections, then the people who want certain things like the immigrants and everybody else, they get everything they want to get. Because a lot of times we just don't show up. And there's personal stories. There's like a whole lot of examples of us just not showing up. So we should be about our people no matter what's going on in the country, no matter who's coming in the country. But if it takes something like this, the mass immigration and the mass deportation to take place for us to focus on us, then cool, I'm with it. But I'm concerned about Black men, whether immigrant comes over here or whatever it is. I'm concerned about them always. We should, because what happens when Trump gets them all out of here? Are we going to say, ooh, that was close, and go about the business as usual? Because the other thing is this too. While we have a whole lot of admonishment for immigrants, and as I always say this, and y'all can be mad at me if you want to, and this is not to you, Cynthia, I'm just saying in general, we get mad at the immigrants coming over here. Hell, if I knew it was a place of land of milk and honey, because that's damn near what America was to them, but land of milk and honey, I could come get housing, clothing, food, you know, and a whole host of money, I'm going there too. So I'm not mad at the immigrants for coming over here. They were told to come over here and get it by, you know, Biden and a whole host of other people. But the problem is we got to start looking out for ourselves. Like I said, Brandon Johnson gets back in there. Whose fault is that? Now, I'm not saying necessarily that is all Black Americans' fault, but whose fault is it going to be if that man who has kicked Black Americans in the tailbone time and time again, every time that man opens his mouth, he's talking about protecting immigrants and don't even give Black Americans an honorable mention. He still ain't talked about how he put those immigrants in Black communities and you know, told Black Americans to shove it. He ain't said nothing about that. So again, I'm not never going to be mad at the immigrants because they doing what they were told to do. Be mad at the people that we keep letting get in office because, for one, we don't show up or we vote against our better interests. Now, we know that let's take somebody like Maxine Waters. Maxine Waters has been in office since Methuselah was a baby, okay? And Maxine Waters has been voting the same way, lying to Black people, taking up for the Hispanics in California, dying on the hill of immigration, telling homeless people to go write down your address and your phone number and I'll get back to you. All that other stuff. And yet she makes it in office every 2 years. So whose fault is that? I'm just asking. At some point in time, we as Black Americans got to have a come to Jesus moment and say, we can't keep blaming everybody else. We got to put the blame on us because we've been told, since I know a lot of y'all will keep saying this, don't like Marcus Garvey. I don't care. I do. We've been told since the days of Marcus Garvey, up you mighty nation, accomplish what you will, when he was trying to get the diaspora together. Okay, fine. That didn't work out. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, set your own, be yourself, do for self. Nah, we don't want to do that either. We want to listen to the big six. We want to listen to white folks tell us, well, you're going to give you civil rights. We're going to let you move out of your own neighborhoods, dilapidate your own neighborhoods, dilapidate your own stores and your schools and everything so y'all can think about living next door to white folks. That's what we want to do. And then Dr. Claude Anderson got what he's in. He's got to be in his 90s. He's been saying practice group economics. We don't want to do that either. So at what point will we listen? What point will we finally say, okay, bet I'm going to do something? But you know what the real problem is? And I'm not talking to y'all. I'm talking to them over there. We don't want to do that because we've been conditioned not to want to do that. And I'm going to give it to Donovan after this. Case in point, dear brother Ice Cube, who's not perfect, but I love him. He came up with a contract with Black America, and Black America's dragged his black ass from the West Coast to the East Coast. And he called him everything but a child of God for trying to help Black people when he got all the money he could never spend for generations. He tried to help his own people, and we kicked him in his ass. So at what point will we listen and do what we got to do so we can save us, and so we can stop having these conversations about who will do this and who's neglecting us and who's it? Because the Asians don't give a damn. They do, but they don't. Know why they don't give a damn? Because they're going to get whatever they got to get regardless, because they recycle their money with each other, and they got spending power and all that. We got spending power, but we give 97% of that away. So at what point do we come to Jesus and have a honest conversation with ourselves as Black Americans? I'm just asking.
Yeah, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but do you guys remember earlier in this program where my phone rang? Remember that, Demetria? Earlier in this program where my phone rang? Do you guys want to know who that was on my phone? That was my city council member asking me if I'm going to be at city council tonight. So my point is this. I live in a town of 211,000 people and growing. Gentrification out of LA, whatever the deal is. For a city council member to contact little old me to wonder if I'm going to be at city council tonight. Number one, she's probably, praying and bracing herself, because when I speak, I kind of indict a lot of people. But the point is, how many of us are taking part in what happens at the local level? Demetria will tell you, even a congressman, Mark Takano, when they hear my name, these politicians run. POS Corey Jackson, they all know me. They all know me because I hold them accountable for what they do. I am their boss. The whole point is a Brandon Johnson, a Donald Trump should have never happened, much less once, much less twice. And he came back stronger a second time, if we know our history and we're paying attention to what is going on. But no, as soon as the migrants and everybody gets what they want to get, and the Black folks have been beaten ahead, a bunch of us arrested, lost our jobs, then we go back to doing what we were doing, smoking our weed, get our hose, driving our cars, not a care in the world until another crisis comes. When are we going to be responsible for what we do in our community? We got to get back to policing ourselves. We got to get back to it. When you see the kid in the neighborhood vandalizing and not throwing the trash out, don't be afraid to speak to that single parent and tell them that the child to pick up the damn trash. We got to get back to take care of us, because it is evident at this point, ain't nobody going to do it but us. We are in the fourth quarter. We are on the 5-yard line, and we got to score a touchdown. A field goal is not going to cut it.
Absolutely. And JD, you said the problem with immigrants is many of them come here and deliberately undermine Black American citizens who have been here before and through enslavement. That is a problem. But how did they get here? And I love you, JD. I don't know you, but I'm going to say I love you right now. And I'm not really trying to, be a jerk. But how did they get here? Right-wing people don't vote for mass immigration. It's the Democrats. Okay, work with me here. Who predominantly votes for the Democrats? It's Black people. The black people that we're told the Democrats are the party of Black people. So we show up, as Dr. Claude Anderson said, and vote for our own oppression as a block. We do that. So this is what I always say, and I know a lot of people don't like it, but I'm not saying this about you. But I'm just saying, if we are not versed on what we're voting for, I don't think you should be able to vote, because you're going to go in there, not you, I'm just saying in general, somebody going to go in there, well, I'm going to vote blue no matter who. I'm going to vote because the sign said that, or my homie or my mom and them told me to vote for this person. Oh, why are you voting for that person? Because they told me to. Oh, did you know that person is very pro-immigration and this, that, and the other, very anti-Black American? No, I didn't know all that, right? But so we got to get well-versed as to who we're voting for. We know if we vote for the Democrats, who have been practicing the benign neglect of us forever, we know that we vote for them, they're going to do for everybody else but us. which is why Dr. Claude Anderson says, stop calling ourselves minorities, because everybody else gets the benefit of this minority effect, right? Black Americans never get any of that. So that is on us to some degree. We got to be careful of who we continue to vote for. Sister B, go ahead.
Oh, and just real quick, I want to correct you a little bit. If you go back to Obama, the porter in chief, under the W. Bush regime, the Democrats were complaining that George Bush was doing nothing about immigration. Under George W. Bush, almost 4 million immigrants came into the country. That is why Hillary and Obama, when they were running for the nomination, they kept saying, you got to pay a fine, you got to do this, whatever. So what I'm saying is, these parties are the same. They flip every so many years. So right now, if you take the name Trump out of it and you put Obama on it, it would be the same policy. It would be the exact same policy that's going on. And what a lot of people don't understand is this is the game. These parties switch and they say whatever they can say because they're both owned corporately. And if you're on both sides of the argument, Dimitri, you're a master debater. If you own both sides of the argument, there is no argument. So again, as long as we are arguing and fighting among ourselves, saying, oh, the Democrats are doing this, both parties are doing what they're doing, and there's an agenda there somewhere. The corporation wants cheap labor. They bring them in. We'll let the Democrats take the heat for it this time. And then they switch the policy. And then the Republicans take it the next time. But right now, the immigration that Donald Trump is doing, do you guys remember Obama was the deporter in chief? He was doing the exact same thing that Trump is doing right now. So I just wanted to kind of get that parallel there.
And I see you guys' conversation about Marcus Garvey. I'm gonna leave that alone. Brother Reddy says some people don't want to solve problems as there will be less to complain about. Sad, yeah, it's just a conditioning is what it is. And we got to unlearn that, because as somebody said, I think maybe it was you, Negroes, I'm not sure. But when the immigrants leave, then what? Are we going to get down to brass tacks? Are we going to do what we're supposed to do? What are we going to do? And I know I'm not saying that it's all our fault, but we got to start paying attention to the politicians. Like I said, why is Maxine Waters in office all that time? Why is James Clyburn in office all that time? Why was Sheila Jackson Lee? Why was Sylvester Turner and Barbara Leach? They just, and Karen Bass, they just keep hopping from here to there, neglecting. They've gotten and moved up on the ladder by neglecting Black folks. So now a lot of those people, especially in California, they're in a position to where Black vote don't even matter, which is why they legislate for the Latino and the Asian, because they like, y'all less than 6% here. So it don't matter. But guess what? Black Americans, thank you. Thank you for catapulting me to positions where I don't have to do nothing for you, because what you gonna do about it? See, we're gonna get to the point to where we're gonna outvote ourselves out of having any voice at all. Then we're really gonna have to sit down at the table and say, oh, okay, now we talk about keeping more than 97%. And stop giving 97% away. Now we talk about building our own, because now we're really left up to our own devices. And I'm not saying we'll never get reparations. It's not if, it's when. But we'll get it sooner, just in my opinion, when we start to organize and we unify. But until then, we just going to be starting to screaming and hollering and acting like donkeys around here. TY, how you doing? Andre, what's going on? You're on mute.
I want to address Shadow Pop. He says, Obama would never do this evil stuff Trump is doing. Oh, well, see, I hear that a lot, Shadow Pop, when people say that. Oh, what evil is Donald Trump doing? He's doing everything that is within the law that is on the books. I'm not saying the law is right or it's not even modern, right? The child support system, that's an evil system toward men. It hasn't been upgraded. So when I hear people talk about the evil stuff that Trump is doing, what is he doing that is any different than what Obama was doing? Oh, well, women can't self-delete their children. Okay, fine. What was the first thing that Obama said that he was going to do if he got elected? What did he go and tell the women? He said, the first thing I'm going to do when I get elected is to codify Roe versus Wade. Did he do it? No, he didn't. He went right back on his word. This is what all the politicians do. See, that's what I'm saying. Shadow Pop, all I'm saying is, it's obvious to me you're taking a side. And no matter what side you take, you're in a trick bag because these are the same people. And until you see that, you're going to continue to vote for your own demise and support your own demise. None of these parties mean us no good as Black people. We need to be independent from either of these parties, so they have to work for our votes. So Shadow Pop, whatever's advantageous to you might not be advantageous to me, which makes us a dangerous voting bloc. When we stop voting as a bloc, then they will start listening to what we have to say, because then they really have to work for those votes.
Yeah. And Gary, to your point, says you must be more specific. It's not immigrants, it's illegal immigrants. It's the problem. Well, yes, I would say that the truth is somewhere in the middle, because a lot of immigrants who do come over here legally, they're not coming over here to meld with Black Americans or to help Black Americans do anything. They're coming over here, a lot of them, not all, coming over here to set up in our neighborhoods and sell us things, this, that, and the other, and take our money and go home and come back and wash, rinse, repeat. So I'll concede some of what you're saying. And Richard, you says, yeah, we're voting Democrat, but we didn't vote for the Biden open borders. There you go. So there's a truth somewhere in there. And that is, how you doing? I see I'm so behind. Let me catch up. K-Dog, how you doing? Says, we Blacks have had our organization infiltrated by enemies, white people, and our own political party and other people. Yeah, but now we have to move a little bit more wisdom, right? But again, even a little bit of that was on us when they came with that civil rights stuff. We just couldn't wait, right? Buckhorse, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Black Rose, how you doing? Says, vote all immigrants out of government positions immediately. They can no longer speak for FBA. And that's the problem. We weren't delineating. We didn't know the difference. Now we do. Now we as a lot of people say, where your people from? Sherry says, an old Jim Crow Joe set out in our faces and told us, ninjas, y'all better learn to get along with the immigrants because they are coming, and none of our so-called Black leaders said nothing. They sat there with their mouth button like Big Daddy Biden speaking. Shadow Pop, how you doing? Shireen says, I saw the influx in the DMV with Bush. Okay. Let's see. Skipping down. Mama T was good. Said, I really hope Black Americans don't all of a sudden suffer from the short-term memory loss when going to the polls. We need to get these jokers out. Yeah. If they have demonstrated that they're going to do something for Black Americans, sure, great. But not just because I'm Black, you Black, and that's all we need. Nah, you got to be talking something else and doing something, right? Constance, how you doing? Long time no see. Says, China is a country. India is a country with nuclear weapons. We can only organize and use the system to our advantage. We are a people. We have to organize. I'm just saying, at some point in time, we are going to get that message. Ricardo, how you doing? Hope that you are well. Let's see. I think I'm making it to the bottom. Orion, how you doing? Ryan, rather. Long time no see. How you doing? Excuse the tardy. Easy says, all the stuff staged by both parties to keep us in limbo. Yeah, keep us arguing, making us think we got a choice, and all this other stuff. Black Rose says the CBC is full of black-faced immigrants that do not support FBA, and they're very unapologetic about that. Like, I'm gonna do for my people, and y'all keep voting for me. Natalie,
yeah, our Negro's official. She has a great question. Has Obama said anything about Chicago, Demetra?
I haven't seen him say anything about it. No, not that I haven't seen it. Now, I don't know if he said anything, and I haven't seen him say anything. Maybe he said something about the ICE raids, but about Black people, come on now. Y'all know Obama done already said. I'm not on that time right there. Now, if I got to come out there and, kick y'all in the tailbone for not voting for Kamala or whatever, then yeah, I'll do that. But the stuff that's going on with y'all, please. One who cares says, no, Obama was evil one also. Yeah, he was doing the bidding of white supremacy. Narma, how you doing? Says, peace and power. There was never a better time to create our own businesses through our own talents. No more interviews. Become our own boss. There you go. Natalie says, these communists gotta go. What? Kimmy said, child support is evil. I'm gonna leave that with a low. Cynthia says,
I'm addressing it right now. It right now. So go ahead.
Cynthia says President Biden administration was horrible. Yeah, there's a lot of them that were horrible. Sister B says the elderly Black boulets stay in office because they are addicted to the limelight, money, perks, and excitement. Oh yeah, and we keep them in there. Hey, Renz, how you doing? Raven, what's going on with you? Says, Says Black Americans stop shopping at convenience stores and smoke shop. Exactly. Run them out of there. Otherwise, then we just need to shut up. If we're not going to do that, it's like, what are we doing? Oh, look what they did to me. They said this to shut up because you shouldn't have been in there, right? JD says it was the Obama administration that asked Assange Shakur added rather to the FBI most wanted list in 2013. So let's stop fantasizing about Obama being a friend to the FBI. He's not now or never has been. It was his administration that added the $1 million on top of that of New Jersey. So yeah, he was kind of doing a lot of double speaking per se, kind of blaming the DOJ or whatever it is, or FBI. They wasn't trying to actively go after her, but he wasn't not, you know what I'm saying? It was just kind of weird. I remember him not really being definitive about his stance on it. But nothing says that we want you hemmed up by giving $1 million bounty, right? Easy says, them folks not coming here to share anything with Black folks. They are here to take over. Yeah, but are we going to let them? That's the question. Brother James said, Joe Biden said he's going with the status quo. He did say that the status quo means to keep Black Americans at the bottom and keep our people voted for him 90%. Elijah Muhammad is right. Yeah, we didn't care, right? Joe Biden is a good man. He's sorry. He didn't mean it. Matt Q says they should have seen the problems like this. Yep, Albie, he says everyone ain't going to make it, unfortunately. True. Easy says D was confirmed on TV today that Houston is, the trafficking hub of the country. I already heard that, but yeah, I don't be outside like that. DJ Biggs, how you doing? Says anchor babies who grew up now are running for office that are Southerners from the soil. The cosplaying is real. That is true.
Yeah, and think about this, Demetra, the 14 to 22 million immigrants that are here, like we say on the show all the time, those aren't the people we need to worry about. Those people are here. But while they're waiting 5 years for their immigration court case, what do you think they're doing in those 5 years? They're working jobs, whatever. They're here legally now, whatever their status, while they're waiting for their court case. They're making babies. So guess who is going to be wiped out and have no voice like California? It's going to be our babies, because you've got 14 to 22 million immigrants that are now making anchor babies that are going to drown out the voice of our grandchildren.
Yeah, but again, are we going to continue to vote like that? Like Marcel Dixon, South Carolina, when he's tried twice to get in, try to unseat that of James Clyburn, and people just ain't having it. And James Clyburn ain't even offering no fish fries no more. He just like, vote for me, period, the end, full stop. Okay. I mean, he's got to be like 85, 86 now. No shade to older people, right? We'll all get there. But at what point in time do you say, okay, buddy, it's Shady Pines for you. It's time for you to go and sit down and let somebody else, because, James Clyburn is a silent generation. It's too late for the baby boomers, right? Because he just sat himself up in there forever. We're Gen X. It's too late for us, right? And so
totally skipped over our generation. We will not have any leadership. Totally skipped over our generation.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be our children's time, but hell, Maxine Waters and them might hang on another 30 years, and they'll still be up in there talking about, wait, no, I ain't gonna do it. I was gonna, talk about Mitch McConnell, but where is he? Where is Mitch McConnell?
Isn't he? Wasn't he supposed to retire? Didn't he retire at the last Congress?
Did he? Maybe
yeah,
he did. I don't know.
Yeah, the last Congress, that was his last story.
Okay, because I know he was retired. I wasn't for sure if it's this time or last time, or is he just like?
But then again, who is the leader in? Who is the leader in the Senate right now?
It's the Senate. Yeah.
Yeah, Mitch McConnell was the leader in the Senate, so I haven't seen him, so I don't know. Maybe it's another weekend at Bernie's or a weekend at Biden's situation.
Yeah, maybe him and Biden they're playing a mean game of freeze tag. That was mean. Glitching Mitching is crazy, Jesse. T. Austin, how you doing? Says Mitch keep freezing up. He has to go. I don't know. Gary,
Yeah.
you say baby boomers have hurt the generation to come. I don't want to blame the baby boomers. I really don't. They did some things just like my generation. You know, there's a lot of things that we didn't do either. So it's everybody's fault, I would say.
Yeah. Odd Negroes official said there's 40 million of us though, but Odd Negroes official. See, here's what people don't understand. When you let 14 to 22 million people into the country of, you know, whatever their ages are, whatever the deal is. Now, out of our 40 million of us, significant of us aren't going to be making any more children. So think about it. In less than 4 years, I'm going to go high number. 22 million people have been let into the country. You said that we're 40 million. That's almost half of what we are. There's not enough, excuse my language, sex we can do to keep up with those numbers.
Okay, so Mitch is still there, but John Thune is the Senate majority leader. Okay, got it. Because it was like, what the?
Yeah, no, I think Thune is a lieutenant, so he's the whip or something like that. Because this Congress isn't done yet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying we ain't seen him. Since I think FBAs need to pick a town, city where we have numbers, cultivate our own politicians to take over that local government. Then we can grow it from there. But we need a proving ground. I like that.
So are you saying that? So are you saying like what the Somalis did in Minnesota? Just take over a whole area and just, you know, cultivate it?
Yeah, I mean, but again, they've been allowed to do it. You know, Ricardo, you know you ain't right. But yeah, that's probably about accurate. African Native says when some politicians retire, they become CEO of the lobby. They serve. I mean, I'm just saying. I seen Maxine Waters when what's the name? Hakeem Jeffries was Trump. If you got something to say it to my face. And she was, yeah. You know, like, Maxine, don't get this man beat up. Jay Davis, she says, and Hayden says, yes, I see 3 to 4 children born to immigrants. They are fertile as hell. But that was always the game plan. Their game plan was to always overpopulate or repopulate, I don't know, and take it back. That was always their game plan. And it's worked. But guess who hasn't overpopulated? Black Americans. We ain't overpopulating because, you know, they come in our community and say, let's be clear. We need to make sure Planned Parenthood is accessible to all women, especially you Black women. So, you know, we got to start paying attention. When people start putting that good information out there about eugenics and this, that, and the other, we got to listen because it's not gone anywhere.
And you got to remember also, you know, we have the career women now that are out there that are delaying making families and stuff. So I'm not saying that's a bad thing. What I'm saying is it hurts us as a community, as a people, because, you know, again, when you're delaying that now later on in life, now all these women lost their jobs. So now they're probably going to put childbearing years even further off. You got Black men that are dating outside of the race, you know, for whatever reasons. Then you got the 15% of the LGBTQ within our community, whatever that number is. So our community is really being hammered by all areas so that we don't procreate. Again, if you look at the statistics that they say in the 1960s, the Black population was 13%. Here we are in the 21st century, 60 years later, and they're saying the Black population is 13%. And they're doing that. We know it's more, but they're doing that because it has to do with resources. The more people you have, the more resources you're allotted. So again, they keep our numbers low so that we can't get the resources that we need or we deserve.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a couple more comments. Negroes, you say women are having kids at 50. Then I want to read this one. You say, remember Rebecca from the Bible is possible. You know, it's funny. I was having this conversation actually with my father the other day about Methuselah and Rebecca and Abraham and all of them, how they lived so long and they were having all these children up until they 18,000 years old and stuff. The problem is, and the difference is between Rebecca and Rakesha, is Rebecca was eating fruits and berries and herbs and stuff. Rakesha is eating Cheetos and shrimps and things like that. So I say all that to say, yeah, in order for us to be procreate, I'm 54. Listen, I'm not having no kids. I'm gonna tell you right now, I can't. But in order for us to procreate that old, yeah, we got to be doing some things to take care of our bodies, right? We can't be, smoking Black and Milds and things like that. I'm just saying. But yeah, I hear what you're saying, Amina. You say that's why Trump and them is on the ICE thing, because in a few decades they will overpopulate the whites. Come on now, and be in power. The white population is slowing down too, and that's the crux of it right there. It ain't got nothing to do with us. It's about them, because the Latino, especially, like, we having all our babies, and there's a little bit more to it too. They're Catholic and they don't believe in birth control. At least they didn't. I don't know if the Pope or somebody has said now y'all can have birth control. I don't know. But yeah, they procreate with a purpose. Jay Davis says that's why we are delineating. We can't afford everyone else. Yep. He said Clyburn going to send you an invite to his delicious fish fry. I'm gonna pass. Natalie says Brandon Johnson still has the nerve to beg President Trump for funding. Yeah, because didn't he said he was withholding the billions for the red line through the South Side or whatever. But he's like, yeah, you need to run us our money. 48 TCL says all those representatives in DC need to get laid. They all seem backed up. Oh, they do. They get laid. They just want to legislate so that you don't do that. When they had Charlie Kirk's funeral, somebody looked up the Grindr. That's the gay app for men, the gay dating app Grindr, and it was just lit up everywhere. They said it was so many, I guess, dots, whatever it is, the color is everywhere. It's ridiculous. So not only are they having sex, they have it with each other. They don't want you to do that. Sunlight says Rebecca was also not out there working either. Rebecca had better food and better everything, right? Rebecca was like, oh, it's so nice waking up and just having to tend to the garden and the man. She didn't have to go bust a hustle and come home and then, cook some rice-a-roni or whatever it is, and then lift up her gown or what, let me stop. So yeah, she had a little bit more easier. Vanessa says there are so many influencers on this app telling Black women not to be baby machines, and this new age Black women are falling for it and not paying attention to numbers. Yeah, we got to drown those people out. I swear they definitely working for the enemy. Anytime somebody's speaking ill of their own people, they're working for the enemy, and they should be shunned. And like I said, I'm so happy I'm not in that algorithm. People be telling me about, did you see this woman, this man, and this? No, that ain't on my timeline. I'm out of that algorithm. And I'm glad that I'm out of that algorithm. I'm not in, I was going to say something I shouldn't say on here, but I'm not in that algorithm. Thank God.
And I be telling Demetra all the time of the shenanigans these Black women are doing out there.
And I'll be like, I'm sorry, what? I didn't hear about that. Booker says, on my way to the store, y'all, I forgot the damn milk for cookies. You need the milk for cookies, brother. You got to have the milk. Patrick says a lot of Black women are, oh, Lord, y'all going to make us stay here longer and I'm tired. This is my third show. Says a lot of Black women are out of control. Black men have to step up and take control of the community. Okay, that part, you ended it on a good note. I ain't going to say nothing after that. This here, easy. You say D. Depo-Provera. Yes, I saw that. Depo-Provera, birth control doing a number on these young Black women. Causing brain tumors. I saw one where a Black lady said she was taking it for 30 years. It's like 30 years. Well, that's a long time to be taking birth control, right? A lot of that stuff ain't naturals. Pfizer, I think it is, that they're suing because they got brain tumors. It's crazy. It's like, yikes. Killer Kalichi, how you doing? Says Gino in the house. Says, I live in Chicago and Brandon has been looked at as a clown. You say, especially after he compared what immigrants are going through, close to what Blacks went through slavery. Yep. And he's done it a couple of times. So, yep, I see the argument and already kind of ensued a little bit. Dear Self says, we're going to put Donovan on an island with just his cat and unlimited round trip buddy passes for the Dominican woman of his choice. I'm with it. Send him off. Silky Danielle, thank you so much. Love and appreciate you. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It was just easy to do this week.
Yes, all I need is Demetra's sister. That's all I would need on the island. Trust me. That's it.
One hit and that's it. They'll never hear from you again. Anyway, love and appreciate every last one of y'all. I will be back here tomorrow, Wednesday. If Donovan wants to come back tomorrow, he is more than welcome. But please join me on the Africa
I
Diet.
will be meeting with my lawyer tomorrow, so hopefully I can make it back in time. This morning you got on so early. I was like, I looked at the phone. I just said, turn back over. Went to sleep.
At 9 o'clock, where you at? Get yourself up out the doggone bed. T. Austin, you say, did you hear the judge whose house was mysteriously got? I did hear about that. I hope they find out because that's a dangerous game. So tomorrow will be African Diaspora News Channel 11 a.m. Central Time. Y'all please join me. I will put up a reminder. Something else I was going to say, but I'm getting old. I do be forgetting. Anyway, love and appreciate. Truth is, he says more fear taxes coming from Brandon Johnson and extreme left, and we ain't paying them no attention. Love y'all. See y'all later. Peace.